Ventura, joined this week for a very special pre-Ironman Lake Placid episode. Returning this week, we have Brittaney Talbot back after a few weeks. Brittaney, how have you been?
Good. Yeah, I'm ready. Let's roll.
You're ready. And then another special new to this show guest, Vanessa Foerster. And Vanessa, you are making your pro debut in Placid. I'm so excited.
I am. That is a true fact. I'm excited too.
All right. And the start list for Ironman Lake Placid, it just came out. And I think we need to chat first. Full disclosure, I do coach both of you. And so this is like a very cool moment for me. I think this might be the first time I have more than one pro. I don't know. That doesn't include myself. So this is like a very fun experience for me. And I claim like a tiny bit of Tamara Jewett because I do help her with her swim a little bit, but you two are all in. So I claim you fully. That's why you're here.
And I hope you'll still claim us next week.
Yeah, you're like, I don't know them.
Of course. But this is happy hour and you are just like when this airs, it'll be less than a week out from race day. So there is no pressure, but I am having an adult beverage because I'm not racing. I will be commentating and coaching. So I have a Radler lager with grapefruit and a hint of blood orange drink. This is actually
fancy.
From my friend Jen, who was on the podcast a few weeks ago for the Mary Kane episode. She's my beer sponsor this week. So amazing. Thank you, Jen. For I need it every once in a while, but this is a very it's very citrusy and it's summery. But okay, fresh. What are y'all drinking?
Brittaney, go first.
Okay, so fancy. I have a Trader Joe's matcha green tea in a can.
No, okay. Tell me what makes Trader Joe's magical, because I don't have a Trader Joe's here in Bozeman.
So sad.
I love Trader Joe's. I love Trader Joe's, and my kid loves Trader Joe's, and they love my kid at Trader Joe's. So much so that they made him a name tag.
Oh,
it's the cutest thing.
Okay, that might be the magic of Trader Joe's.
Yeah, so we go in. So it's the closest grocery store. It's not Erewhon, which is I
do love Erewhon.
I don't even know what Erewhon is.
Oh, I have been to LA and I've been to Erewhon and I'm like, I belong.
They'll make your
belong
CMOS dreams come true.
Vanessa, you would love Erewhon because they have a lot of vegan options and just it's
the highest echelon of grocery store.
Okay, so now I get the comparison to Trader Joe's.
Yeah.
It's not that.
It's not that.
Trader Joe's is affordable and has good options.
Yeah.
I love Trader Joe's.
And you don't get overwhelmed when you go in.
Yeah.
Anyway, so I put a little bit of iced tea in this. So this is the Peachtree 10K.
You always have a good mug. You have a good mug every time you come on here.
Well, yeah, thank you. Thank you so much.
All two times.
All 2 times. But this the Peachtree, which I did with my one of my triplet sisters. And the top 1,000 finishers get a mug, and she was really wanting the mug, and I was like, let's rage. So we can talk about that, but I'm gonna drink it out of this mug in celebration of her.
There are going to be listeners who are jealous of that mug. I know already, but we will talk more about Peachtree.
Yes,
Vanessa, what did you bring?
I brought a vegan milkshake. That's my kind of happy hour.
Who needs Erewhon? Erewhon? You have Denver and vegan milkshakes in Denver. Wait, is this one you made yourself? No, it's from somewhere.
It's from somewhere.
What is in a vegan milkshake?
Soy milk, vegan vanilla ice cream, and this is a peanut butter cup. So it's got peanut butter and chocolate chips in it.
Delicious.
It's to die for.
This is what you should be doing on Ironman Race Week for sure.
Thank you.
It is definitely
approved by Coach.
Yes, it's very approved by Coach, especially Coach, who had a little bit of a nutritional meltdown last week in her own race that was not nearly as long. Eat everything this week. That is my biggest tip at this point, is get those glycogen stores full before that start line. So I do think this is a fun opportunity to have you both here. I think you both are racing Ironman Lake Placid as your first pro Ironman distance race. Brittaney, we talked to you. You've raced several 70.3s as a pro already. And Vanessa, this is your first pro race ever.
Yeah,
and
why not?
You've
going
raced,
in.
You've both raced Ironman previously. You've raced it as age grouper, but racing Ironman as a pro is a little bit different. So I'd love to hear your why. I think that's and maybe we start with Vanessa on this one.
Yeah. I mean, ultimately, I decided to take my pro card to level up my own racing. And because ultimately I just made the race harder for myself. And that's something that was really exciting for me. It's not that I was like winning everything or bored with racing in the age group level, but given the opportunity to do it differently and really challenge myself in a new way, it felt like it was time. Like, why not? And you were a big inspiration to that, where you were like, how often do people get to say that they raced as a professional athlete or get to have a professional elite license in anything? And that just earning it feels really, really special. And it's been a very long journey since when I took the card in the middle of 2024. I thought I would race before this, and it just wasn't in the cards for me. There's a lot of things I went through personally, and so I needed to take a step back from racing. And now that I'm ready and excited and engaged in everything race related, it feels like the right time to line up and meet that challenge that is much different than the age group level.
I think it's really cool to hear. I think when people are thinking about going pro, they have their own reasons, right? And I think I talked to someone earlier today, like a young woman, and I was like, make your first goal qualifying to go pro. And I think you both did that. Like, make your first goal qualifying to go pro. You don't have to take it. You can take it and not race. I think there's a different path for everyone. And I really admire, Vanessa, even how you have taken your own path in this. Like, and even as life kind of came at you in different ways and things didn't go exactly as planned, you're here, you're back, you've done the training, and you're going to be in that start line on Sunday, just ready to go and be a part of that pro field, which is very, very exciting. Brittaney, what about you? Why Ironman? Because I think when we last talked, did you break that news on the podcast? I can't remember if it was right after.
Okay.
It was.
Yes,
okay.
It was on the podcast.
Yeah,
it was the last line of the podcast. I remember. I listened.
Yeah. I think a lot of it has to do with the age of my kid. So he'll be 17 months tomorrow. And I was like, I think Haley, you and I talked about it, where like the older he gets, the more activities he's probably gonna have. And it actually gets harder to leave and to take that time out. So it felt like he's pretty resilient right now. I can take a couple of days away from him and be and go to this race, but also like the training schedule is able to really fit around. I mean, I say this, I fit around by like training at 3 a.m., but it just seemed like I got to do it now. I don't know what's coming next, so I might as well just do a full right now. And Lake Placid's pretty iconic, and also because I have a kid, it's a challenge to travel outside of the U.S. right now, and even like I'm going solo to Lake Placid because the idea of traveling with a stroller and a bike and all the accoutrement of toddler was just like, no, let's just make it. It's gonna be kind of like a girls trip, but instead of a spa, we're doing a 10-hour race, 9-hour race.
Have you? I mean, like I've been to several Ironman solo, and I think people get a little bit like scared of that thought, right? They're like, oh, I'm going to an Ironman solo, but like truly, once you're there, it's like there's so much going on. There's so much going on, and you're surrounded by a bunch of people who are just like you. And it's like the least solo experience. If anything, I feel like when I've gone by myself or I'm the only one in my group racing, you actually end up meeting more people and connecting with more people. I think sometimes when you have that insular group, and sometimes you need to be like insular and just like really focused on yourself, but sometimes when you have that, you're less likely to like go meet someone, say hi. And so it's the least lonely experience ever. I'm sure that is hard leaving Luke, and but it's still really cool that you can tell him someday that about when you did the Ironman when he was 17 months old.
Yeah.
And you're traveling solo, but you're not alone because we'll be there.
That's true. Yes. And I have a great, I'll have a very soft landing. And I think too, if they were there, I would spend so much of the time worrying about, like, I'd be on the bike being like, I hope my husband and my baby are in the shade or, getting enough. And my husband is phenomenal. Like, he's great. But, there's just that natural worry if you have someone at your race. Like, I hope they're taking care of themselves. So this way I know, like, they'll be comfortable. They're at home. They can watch the live stream.
Brittaney, you've done a Pro Series race. So Ironman Lake Placid will be a Pro Series race this year, which means it does have a live stream. Yours truly might make an appearance. We'll see. I'm like,
yay!
I'm bringing some cash for that cameraman. I'm like, put me on there. But I need to incentivize someone. But I think I have people to talk about, right? But what advice do you have for Vanessa, who hasn't seen a Pro Series race? Do you have advice for how it might be different than a regular Ironman race, or do you find any difference?
I mean, I was so like, sounds terrible. I was so low on the podium, on the like nobody knew who I was. So, I could kind of wander around, and nobody was stopping me for media things. So I got to kind of do my own thing. Ironman does a nice job of like setting up a place for you. And there's just like, things that you get as a pro that you don't get as an age grouper, like your own porta potty or the transition area that just is a little bit more well lit, maybe.
That's nice.
We have
unexpected perk.
Yeah, like, all right, there's some nice lights over here. Yeah, I think, because I only did one other pro race, Santa Cruz. No.
Oceanside. You did
Oceanside. I did Oceanside. Oceanside is a Pro Series, yes. Mm-hmm. But Santa Cruz was not a Pro Series, but I raced it as a pro.
What was like the notable difference between those two, Pro Series versus non-Pro Series?
I think the like nicer area of transition.
Better lighting.
And you got like headshots.
Pictures.
Headshots. I did a photo. Yes, I had a photo.
Race Ranger. What do you think about Race Ranger?
Oh yeah, Race Ranger. It is great when you're with your fellow pros. There were some definitely fast age group men that caught up to me, and so that made it a little bit like, oh well, you don't have this Race Ranger thing. You don't and they have different drafting rules, so like there's that.
Yeah, how is that? Is that because that was a big thing that was unveiled earlier this year. So Race Ranger, of course, is the radar between pro bikes. So you have a thing on the back of your bike,
like a
and
beacon
on the front. Yes,
yeah.
And so you can just ride behind the person. It turns different colors. You can tell if you're drafting how close you are to them.
Yeah.
And the pro rule is 20 meters now, and the age group rule is 12 meters. So
big difference.
Yeah.
So when you're riding behind an age group man, you still have to keep 20 meters, but they only have to be 12 meters behind you. Is that annoying?
I mean, I don't know what's happening behind me most of the time. So I'm like, maybe if they are. But I think sometimes with just you're out there and I think sometimes there's like, well, if I don't get caught. But the Race Ranger, I think makes it easier for the pros to just settle in, and you don't have to do the mental gymnastics.
Right. I think it's nice compared to age group racing where you're just estimating, you're always estimating. Yeah. And I think that it's nice to have that a little bit more of this is exactly it. But I can see where if you have other age group men mixed in, it does.
I'm a little worried about the climbs.
Okay.
Because like if you're descending and then ascending, like that can just change. You get into someone's red zone so fast if you're coming down fast and they've hit the hill already and you're like, oh man, now I gotta pass you up this hill. Like it's that is the most, I think, challenging part of the non-drafting. Because like I think when that happens on the without race ranger, the officials are like, okay, we know what's going on. It's just the physics of it.
I think the officials still do that. Cool. And so in my experience, when I did get to race with race ranger, in aid stations, in like technical corners, they will not give you a penalty, even if it flashes red and you are that. So I think they are still using discretion. And so that's why it's nice that you have officials, and why it's a little bit dangerous if it's just like looking at race ranger data and you're like, this person was in that red zone, but it could have been going through an aid station. And you need to get that water. You need to get that fuel. So
when you're first starting, like you're all like, everyone's red around you because it's like we're all just trying to get out of the transition area.
Right. But these are the fun perks, I think, of just having that experience and being able to have this conversation. Vanessa, what did you think when that start list came out and you got to see your name on it?
Oh my God. I freaked out. I was at work and I didn't know that it was coming out today. We got the email that was like, are you sure you're going to race? So I figured it was coming soon. And then I hadn't been on Instagram for several hours and I opened it up and you had tagged me and another friend, Lauren, had tagged me. And then I saw it and I just like had this wave of emotion. Just a lot of pride to see that it's like real. It felt really real in that moment when I saw the list, and to also see Brittaney's name and other people that I recognize. It felt really good, really real. I was at work, so I got to celebrate with other people and I literally was crying. And I think they know me really well and know that that's just part of who I am. Like I don't hide any of my emotions, but I just feel so grateful to get to line up, after having taken a step back, but also just like feel it fully. Like this is the real deal is happening and I'm in it. I just want to soak it all up, and starting with the start line being released. And that's just my goal for all of it.
Yeah. Nice.
Looking at the course, Brittaney, you mentioned the hills. I am, as we have not had a full-on coaching download about this, so I'm kind of putting you on the spot. That is your coach's fault, not your own. But I think that when we look at this course, let's talk through a little bit of it, like the swim and the bike and the run. And so the swim is 2 laps in Mirror Lake. So and neither of you have raced here before, right?
No.
Yeah, so it's a new course, but I never raced on it, but I've heard some really good things. I've done some studying and I have a nice call with Ironman on Tuesday. My goal, I would love to convince them, because it's 2 laps. If I could convince someone to let me get on the boat, like get out there.
Ooh.
I'm like, theoretically I could do 1 lap and then go to transition and still make it, right? I don't know. It's a lot of it, honestly, one of the reasons they don't put me out on the boat is because of equality of men's and women's coverage. And so it is actually a very good reason, because they can't have enough like camera people and me and give equal coverage and go back and forth safely between the groups. And so
that makes sense.
Yeah, so it does make sense, but I'm still like, maybe this one, since it's 2 laps, I don't know. Anyway,
it's such a good idea.
We'll see what they let me do. But it's supposedly beautiful. I've seen videos and photos. Everyone who talks about this course loves it. It could be wetsuit, it could be non-wetsuit, so it's a little bit of an unknown there. And you get to start in the front. You both raced Kona though as an age grouper with wave starts, and I think the year in 2023 when you both raced, you were near the front, right? Like your age group was one of the first waves to go.
I think we're like third wave maybe.
Did you like that, like head-to-head, that kind of racing? And also you've raced, I think you might have been in the era of Ironman racing where you had some mass starts. I know, Vanessa, you started early enough to have had some mass starts.
Yeah, I think just my first. And I was not competitive. So I was like sucked up into the washing machine.
Do you love the idea of everyone starting together though, and you get to like just stand on that line ready to go versus the age group time trial start where you're maybe going a couple of people at a time?
Yeah, I actually like both. I like how the time trial spreads people out in like a big field. At Kona, I did like our starting with our age groups, and the field is just different, right? Because we're all pretty similar. Like we had to qualify to get there, and it felt like there were people to swim with more so than in a normal like non-world championship Ironman. And then I did notice it getting out of the swim onto the bike. I was like, oh, I'm around people that are my similar like effort level, or like, you know, we are very similar in the ways that we ride, so we could work together legally, of course. And it felt like it felt like a different dynamic of race, but they're different. So I like them. I like them both for different reasons.
I mean, I think that seems to me as close as you can get to almost like pro racing. And Brittaney, you've done a few pro races. How do you feel it's different, like lining up before the start in a pro race, or is it any different?
Yeah, there's a little bit more like jockeying for where you want to be, because you're all out, whether it's like on the sand. I think in Santa Cruz we were on the sand, and then in Indian Wells we were like kind of halfway in the water, and Oceanside, I forget where we were
in the water. I think
we were in the water. That's right. So
you've done everything. You've done all the options.
So there is kind
no
of
dive
like this,
yet. No dive.
Yeah, no dive. So there is kind of that like, okay, where do I want to be, and you get to make that choice for yourself.
Do we know what kind of start we have at Placid?
I think it's I feel like it's like a half and half, like on the edge, like maybe like knee deep. I need to double check that, and that'd also be something that hopefully they go over in the pro meeting. Yeah. Because sometimes it changes a little based on, but from what I understand, I think Oceanside Placid is right on the beach, like not a lot of running. Like you have some races where you have like a long run into the water. I don't think it's a lot of running, maybe a couple steps, if anything. But I do not think it's an in-water start. So
yeah, like treading water.
Yeah, it can be nice if it is that borderline and you're not in a wetsuit. Hopefully it's not too cold standing there. But I think the differences make it interesting. I think that's like if every single race start was the exact same, it would be kind of boring. And there's certain times where you're like, oh wow, I like that kind, or I liked this one this time, or I'm so glad I lined up next to so and so, and that kind of thing. And I think when I would race, there were certain people I definitely tried to line up next to, and just sort of like
I think people probably wanted to line up next to you, because like,
yeah,
they're like, if
so
I can just
pull them.
if I can just be on Haley's ankles.
It's really wild. It's not always what you think. And even like in Kona, it's really wild when you watch like a Lucy Charles Barclay, like someone who's like clearly the fastest swimmer, and how she'll like change position at the last minute, you know, trying to like get away from someone or something like that. I never really had that kind of a tactic. But I had certain people I like to be next to, and it's not, I don't know if people were necessarily, maybe one or two times I had someone who like purposefully would try to line up next to me, but I feel like it isn't, I think everyone's pretty nervous and like kind of trying to think of tactics, but also like you have to just believe in what you have chosen. One of the like craziest races, I think Vegas, one of my final races, we drew numbers for T100, and everyone was going left. And I was like one of the later people, and I went far right because I didn't want to be next to like whoever was there. And so I went far right, and I was like, this is so weird. No one wanted to go right. And then that night, Annie Haug was like, why did you pick far right? There are stones there. And I was like, what did I do? I was kind of freaking out.
Gosh.
I was like, what? This was so silly. Guess who was first out of the water in that swim?
You.
So even in that scenario, like where it seemed like I made the worst decision, I actually did make the best decision. And I had a reason why I had gone far right. I think that I'm not a very good runner into the water. And so it was a shorter run. Like it was fewer steps into the water. And so even though there were stones there, I think just having those fewer steps made a bigger difference for me. So anyway, I will say believing in your decision is the best possible thing. And we'll talk about certain things, but I think that it can make a difference, but I think in a race like this, it's long enough that even if it's like you somehow pick the worst, there's not that big of a difference between.
It's not going to be. I'm lining up wherever Brittaney is. So.
Oh, cool. I'll try not to lead you off the.
You could not do worse than I do for myself, so I trust you.
Well, there's supposedly
I did just buy new goggles.
Yeah.
Okay, that's very good. That is a good thing. And then the 2-lap swim. I think a 2-lap swim is kind of fun. Vanessa, I know you both have done 2-lap swims, right?
Yeah.
2-lap Ironman swims. I think it kind of like breaks it up a little bit. And I was telling someone today who was talking about their first Ironman and doing a 2-lap swim, a 2-lap bike, a 2-lap run. Like they're like, how do you do that? And I was like, very easily. You just do it.
Yeah.
Just do it.
I like a 2-lap. Yeah.
Yeah. I know, that's what I said. I was like, it sounds bizarre, but I'm like, it's very nice. It's great for spectators because you get to you do get a check-in. And I think you also get just a reset in your mind. And when you're lining up, you're doing 2 laps. You're not thinking I'm only going to do 1 and then stop. And everyone else is doing 2 laps. And so there's no thing in your mind where you're not going to do 2 laps.
That's really nice. Like, keep you like, okay, great. I'm halfway.
Yeah.
And you're not like so far out.
Exactly. Yeah. Like Arizona, it's like you just have to go so far for so long before you get to make your way back. Yeah. I like the 2-lap better.
I picked up my bike from a good friend, Shannon Bowles, took my bike after Kona one year. It might have been when you all were there in 2023. They couldn't fit in the car, so I left it at someone's place, and I picked it up the next day at her condo, and she was at the turnaround at the swim, and I was like, I am so glad I didn't see this before the race. Because I'm like, we are so far from the pier. Yeah. I was like, this is too far. I don't even want to run this far. I'm like, this is silly. Who does that? So I think a 2-lap course is very nice. You both are very prepared. Again, I think there's just a bit of like enjoying that you're fit and healthy enough to be in that start wave and enjoy that swim, and it should be nice and kind of pool-esque is what I've been told, and so I think that that's going to be really nice. And then onto the bike, I guess this is a different kind of course, but as you said, it's an iconic course. It has a lot of climbing and descending. But Vanessa, I know both of you, but I've known Vanessa for years, and there's no hill I've ever seen you not want to climb on the bike.
It's very true. I am a hill seeker.
You're a good
Was
climber.
that the appeal of this race? Did you want a hillier course?
I did, yeah. I prefer like a Coeur d'Alene style hillier bike and tamer run, but the draw of the iconic course and like the Olympic scene and like the magic of Lake Placid definitely drew me. And then of course the challenging bike. Yeah. I want to see it. I heard it's a lot like Wisconsin in that it has like punchy climbs, like you turn and automatically you're going up. You don't kind of get the same momentum as you do in Coeur d'Alene. So that'll be interesting because that's different. But I feel like I trained that. So yeah, I'm looking forward to it. And it's beautiful. Like for me, I want to race in pretty places. I want to be out there enjoying the scenery and exploring somewhere new. And I feel like Lake Placid offers that.
Triathlon is a good way to get you to go to some nice places that you might not otherwise. Brittaney, how about you? You live in LA. You have some great hills around you.
Yeah.
How do you feel about the terrain on this course?
Yeah, I think I find that I'm a pretty good climber. I descending is still like, I think it'll just always be a challenge for me. Like I'm not very fast descender and I'm a little bit nervous. So that's like, you just have to take it for what it is. I do think I descend better in a race setting versus when I'm out on, I do live in LA, so I do ride in LA. and it's just very car heavy, and you just got to be really, like, I've been hit before. So it's just like, you just got to be cautious about it. And now, and also, like, as weird as it sounds, like, I am a mom now. So I do have like, you have to be able to pick your kid up later. You can't be.
Yeah, that's real.
Yeah. So I do think, though, again, like, in a race setting, it just feels a little bit more, okay, I know there's not going to be cars out here, or it's going to be much lighter traffic. Also, I don't have to stay in the tiny little piece of road where there's gravel and roots on one side and like potholes on the other. So that is helpful for a race descent. I think it's, I mean, really, the biggest thing is, okay, I don't have to travel internationally. So it's as, like, and it's a full pro race, and the timing just worked out. Yeah.
So it's not, you didn't seek out Placid, but it checks the boxes.
Yeah.
And then it is kind of neat. I think that I know that Lake Placid is not an easy place to get to. I'm flying into Albany and driving 2 hours. I think you two are, flying in.
I'm flying into Burlington.
Right.
Yeah, I'm flying to Albany. Yeah.
Right. So it's not like there is no easy way to get there. And I find that sometimes that brings you to very charming places you might not have gotten to otherwise. And so there is a big benefit of that. And again, you're with a lot of people who have also had those same challenges of how to get there. And this is a race that everyone keeps coming back to despite those challenges. So you're like, okay, something must be special about it. Right?
I think it was one of the first full Ironmans that I ever heard about.
Same.
I think it was the initial like Ironman USA.
Yeah.
I think it was.
I know I want to check my work on this, but I think it might be like the first full Ironman
on the continental U.S. outside of Hawaii.
Yeah.
So I do think, it's a very
so there's something about that.
Race.
I feel like this year is my year of like collecting iconic races between like Boston and Peachtree.
Yes.
So, like,
okay, let's talk about Peachtree.
That's great.
Peachtree was really hot, right? And you and your sister ran really well despite the heat. And I texted you the day before, and I'm like, please be smart. Because I was scared of that forecast. It was like 108 or something.
Wow.
It was hotter the day before when so my sister is really plugged in to the Atlanta running scene. She's part of like 3 or 4 different run groups, and they're all like the nicest people you're ever going to meet down there. So she works for the CDC, and she went to Emory, so she's lived in Atlanta for a few years. And last year she was like, I did the Peachtree, and I really want you to do it with me. Will you do it with me? And in my postpartum haze, I was like, yes, I will. And then I signed up, and I was like, oh, not like, gotta get my flights together. I gotta get that. I kind of like, I don't want to say I had forgotten about it, but I was like, it was definitely in like the back place of my mind. Going in, we had kind of 2 options. It was, I had a seated bib, so I could have like gone way, way in the front. But she really had this time goal that she wanted to hit. And we had been talking about her training, and like, then I was like, I'm just going to lean on Haley and be like, hey, my sister wants to run this. How do we do that? And she was like, here's how you do it. But my poor sister, because I'm sure she was so mad at me during the race. She was nervous because she had this goal, and then everyone was talking about like the heat. Leave all your goals behind. Just be safe, be smart. And I was like, we can do this. It's fine. It's fine. We're gonna start early in the morning. We're just gonna pour a bunch of water on our heads. Like the first aid station, it's gonna be fine. It's only 6 miles, is what I kept saying. I was like, it's only 6 miles. And she had like a time goal, and I blew past that time goal, and I was like, all I need you to do is just stay on my shoulder. And I'm sure she was so mad at me because she almost PR'd her 5K time coming into mile 3. And she said to me, she's like, Britt, that is like, we are seconds off my 5K PR. And I was like, don't care, let's go. No, I was just,
Brittaney, oh man.
I just kept saying, like, but the first 3 miles are essentially downhill. So I was like, all right, of course we're going to be fast. Of course we are. And then we hit like the first hill. And I was just like, what I need you to do is start counting down from 100. Just start at 100. And every like 30 seconds, or like every time you get to 30, like, 60, not 30. Yeah. Like, just go a little bit faster so we can accelerate up this hill. And I knew she was so mad at me, but she did it. And then coming into the last mile, I was like, hey, because she was like, she had set her watch only to her heart rate. And there's one time where she's like, my heart rate is too high. And I was like, okay, well, we just crested this hill, so it's going to come down. You'll be fine. And I was like, if you can talk to me.
You'll be fine. You'll be fine. You'll be fine.
I was like, you're fine. You're fine. You're fine. You're fine. And she was like, well, if you can talk to me, then you're fine. Like, you're upright. I got you. And we came up over the hill, like the last mile is essentially downhill. And I was like, unless we completely crash, you are 10 minutes faster than what you thought. Like, we're going to break your goal by a significant margin. So all I need you to do is just stay with me, and we're just going to hold this pace. I didn't tell her what pace we were holding. I just told her we're going to hold that pace. And we did. And then she saw her lovely, sweet boyfriend about like probably 400 meters from the finish line, and she just like took off, and she PR'd her 10K by 2.5 minutes.
All right.
And so it was just like really, it was like having a front row seat to her success. And then everyone in her run
45-minute 10K in the heat. She was the only person I knew who PR'd that day.
Yeah, exactly.
But it also sounds like there's so many good takeaways for you, because we talk about this Placid run course and it's hilly. And I will say, when I ran the Atlanta 10 miler and then ran New York City Marathon a few weeks later, like, everyone who said New York was hilly, I was like, oh, no, you've never been to Atlanta. It puts it in perspective. It does. Those Atlanta hills are rough. Vanessa, have you run Peachtree?
I don't think so. Maybe, I don't know. I don't remember. I ran the Thanksgiving Day half marathon.
Okay.
I don't know if that takes you on the same hill. Okay.
Did you do it like point to point?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like this. It's the same thing. You just keep going. You go further before and further after.
Okay.
Yeah.
So, it's very similar. So you have this Atlanta Hill experience, and the weather does not appear to be 108 on the East Coast next week. I've heard it's very pleasant in Lake Placid. So
I have heard that my friend Jillian has done this race a couple times. And it was actually her first, and she says that you can have you can have all the weather systems in one day, and it's common to have like overcast, a little bit cooler, and then the sun will come out, and then it'll have rain showers in the afternoon. So we might have that waiting for us.
That feels like Kona, honestly.
Yeah, it kind of does. You're right.
That's what I said too. I was like, I was like, Atlanta, it's like Kona right now. So maybe that's why I felt fine.
Yeah,
I think it's very healthy.
Slayed at Kona. Yeah,
yes, it's healthy to have those kind of like anchors, right, from past races where you're like, I have been in this situation before, and it's okay. It's okay.
Yeah.
So that's where it's nice. Even though we're talking about this as a debut and first pro Ironman, you both are very experienced athletes, and so I think there is something with that. When you think about this Ironman marathon, it's been a little while for both of you. What do you think about, like, when you think about Ironman marathon? I'll start with Vanessa, because you've done it, but again, it's been a couple years. Are you excited to get back out there?
Yeah, it's interesting because I think we have about the same amount of time since it's been like 2.5 years since both of us have done an Ironman marathon. Brittaney had a baby, birthed a human, and is growing a human. I had a mental breakdown of some sort. So we both had something going on in our lives.
Hey, it didn't even take me 2.5 years to do that. I had those mental breakdowns much faster. Look at me. No, I'm just kidding.
Oh, having a mental breakdown.
You're in good company here.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I think for me, my life looks a lot different than it did the last time I did an Ironman marathon. And I think that's for the better because I come with more like a different life experience, and sport is just a reflection of life. So I'm looking forward to the challenge that I just take one step at a time, 1 mile at a time. And I just want to be as present as I can. I know I'm going to hit those hard moments where I'm like, why am I doing this again? Like, why am I paying money yet again to line up and do this? Why am I paying to suffer? But there's other things outside of racing that have prepared me to dig deep and get the most out of myself, which comes back to your first question, why am I doing this? That's exactly why I'm doing it. So I can remember what I'm capable of and what lights me up and what makes me truly feel alive. And there's nothing like an Ironman marathon to do that. So
yeah,
that's what I'll be doing out there.
You will feel alive. Brittaney, you mentioned counting backwards from 100. Is that what you were doing in Peachtree? Like,
I do that all the time.
That's your own skill.
I do that all the time. I'm like, okay, I have, if it's like a timed interval, let's say it's 7 minutes, and I'm like, all right, I just got to count to 42 10 times. And so I'll do something. I do math like that. It's kind of silly, but like that, I don't know, stuff like that really.
That's like very progressive.
I will say I learned that. Well, not learned it, but I like honed that with Simon.
Braveheart Racing?
Yes. Okay. Yeah, Braveheart Racing. Like Simon and I were like, you do that? I do that. And he was like, you should keep doing that. But I think it's a nice way to like stay present. Because like if you're just thinking about like the numbers.
I was doing math in my race last weekend, but it was more like 2 + 2 = 4. Like I have to make it a lot.
I like percentages.
Yeah, I would get lost in 42 times 7, but I think that's kind of the point too, right?
Yeah.
Is that you are not as focused
it's like,
on what
it's meaningless in a way, right? Like these numbers are just, they're like, I could choose any number. So I'm just going to like, okay, what number do I want to anchor on? And then it's like, well, how much percentage do I have left? And so I'll start doing like percentages. And
percentages is a good one. I feel like in swimming we would do that a lot.
Yeah,
like we would do if you knew like the total yardage you were doing that day, and you could figure out the percentage, and then every stroke you're like getting a little bit closer.
Yeah,
I think that those are some good tactics. What about that finish line feeling? I think. Again, I this is a wild conversation because of the three of us, I am the one who's crossed an Ironman finish line the most recently, and I'll rub it in.
So
for
crazy,
week.
Great.
But that's why we love having you coaching us.
I do think, like people would ask me all the time, like why do you keep doing it? Why do you keep doing it? Because it is so hard. Every part of it is hard. The training
it's so
is
dumb.
hard.
It's so dumb. This is the dumbest sport. It was a competition, a bunch of guys,
bunch of men
being like, who can claim the hardest thing? It's so dumb.
And here we are.
And I love it so much.
I love it.
I'm glad I fell in love with this sport and not like ice climbing, because that's also dumb. No. It's beautiful.
I'm glad you fell in love with this and not ice climbing too, because then we get to know each other.
Talk to each other.
That is it. Yeah. But it's hard to describe to people.
So I
the finish line feels like, right?
I love it so much.
How do you describe it, Haley? That finish line feeling.
I think especially this last one in Hawaii, I like that was what I wanted more than anything on that day. And there were so many moments in that day that were so hard, and I was like, no, we're like. It would take something massive to like, I'm crossing that finish line, because I knew it was going to be my last one. And then I did like that. I was also incredibly proud of myself in that race because I was still racing the final mile, and I've done more than 30 Ironmans, and there's a lot where I wasn't racing the final mile. I wanted it to be over. And I think that was one of the goals I had for myself. I was like still racing, it was like in that final mile, I think I decided to make a pass on Maya Stage Nielsen. And again, we're racing for 19th and 20th place. Neither of us is getting a paycheck, right? And I pass her. And then she passes me back, puts in a surge, and I was just like, this is
Oh,
awesome.
yeah,
This is so awesome. And then we both did pass India Lee, who was having a tough day. And so it was just like to have that kind of jostling in the last mile. Again, none of us are getting a paycheck. And none of us are having our dream day necessarily, but we were still fighting for every place. And I think that I'm so proud of that last mile. And then it did. I was alone. I did have a friend I was like, is someone right behind me? Because I do have that fear of like getting like pipped in the and I'm afraid to like look back because it's like it's hard to also describe like that kind of emotion is too much.
So much energy. So much energy.
Yeah,
I cannot be looking
depleted.
backwards. No.
I'm like, I am not going to. Everything I had, but I knew that there was no one around me, and so I did. I soaked it up. I gave the high fives. I like looked around, and I remember like just like being like, you're here, you're at this finish line. And I am really thankful that Jenny Kalmbach, who was the lead paddleboarder, happened to be volunteering at the finish line and got a video of me coming across. And so that's like very special. And honestly, like sometimes this is like so self-indulgent. I like talk about a lot of self, but sometimes I go back and I like watch my own Instagrams and like
that
I'll watch
literally
that video.
Yeah,
it is.
my
It should be.
Instagram is for me. It's my electronic
and it should be.
Yeah.
It should be, right? It should be like your photojournalism.
Yes. I mean, there's a lot. Like, there's one reason I keep that Coeur d'Alene video pinned on mine because I didn't even win that race. You know, I blew up spectacularly in that race, but I am so proud of that finish. And I love seeing how I give high fives on both sides of the shoot, and I'm just on that red carpet, and I love that. And I'm so thankful for those photos, and especially now that I am like retired and it isn't going to happen again like that. I think that's what I would say. Like, it is so worth it. And so Ironman is about problem solving. We talk about this all the time. Things happen during the day, but like ultimately, if you can get yourself across the finish line, it is very worth it. It is very worth it. And like, it's an indescribable
that t-shirt.
feeling.
You just want that t-shirt.
Or I like the towels. I do like the towels.
I do like the towels.
The towel. I will like that. I was a little jealous when Christian Blumenfeld came across the line in Texas, and I was there commentating, and they let him just lay there. And I was like, hey, they never just let me lay there.
Can I? Okay, I want to talk about something. Because Haley, you said this before too. When I did Boston, I realized how much of a spoiled princess, Ironman princess I am, because I crossed the finish line and I was like, where do I get to sit down? Where is
your several volunteers who are going to help?
Yeah.
Carry
where's athlete food? Where can I sit down? And they were like, keep moving. And I was like, no, I want to stop.
I need my sit. Yeah.
They're like, there's 30,000 runners behind you. You got to keep going. And I was like, oh, like I was such a spoiled princess.
You also realize it with the aid stations. Like, Ironman aid stations are...
Ironman aid stations have everything. And people, like, holding it out for you. And at Boston, they're like, there's Vaseline in that cup over there. And in true Boston, they're like, it's over there. Just go get it. Get it yourself. Take care of yourself.
That's real.
It's so real. Yep.
So I would say soak that up. Like, the Ironman volunteers are fantastic, and it is, the aid stations have everything. If you drop something, they got it for you.
They have everything.
A lot, but you get your money's worth. So I think if it is a hot day, get all that water, ice, everything. But that is true. I've had that experience, especially doing these trail races or these ultras, and I'm like, wait, what?
Yeah. I just want to sit down.
My perfectly chilled Morton gel?
Exactly. Where's my bucket of ice? And they're like, absolutely not, girlfriend. No. Keep going. And you're like, oh.
I know it is. We are very spoiled, but but it's also, it is a big feat. It is a big feat, and I think that you both are very prepared. I've gotten a front row to your training. It's been very fun for me to experience this, and then I'm excited that I get to be there. I'm very excited that I get to be there and like watch you race. And now I know I have a little bit of I can tell Brittaney, I'll be like, you're at 47. 46, 45.
Or make Brittaney tell you what number she's at.
I could, yeah, that's probably the better way because you're probably going to be more coherent than me. But I do think that's, I love hearing people's different mental tricks because I think those are things that we can also use in other areas of life.
Yeah.
Vanessa, I know that there is a bit of history for you in this race because you will be only the second Black woman to race as a professional triathlete. Have you reached out to Sika Henry at all, who was the first Black woman to race as a professional triathlete? Have you talked to Sika, or does that even matter to you?
Oh, it matters. It matters a lot. And it also matters to me that I am the first queer person of color to race in the professional field. So it's like a combination. I did speak with and reach out to Sika when I first took my card in 2024. Haven't connected with her since like targeting Lake Placid. But we did have communication, prior to a couple of years ago. And I'm just really honored to follow in her footsteps. I think she put a stamp on this sport that, we're all lucky to follow. And it's also important to me, like I said, to also represent the queer community, which is a very big difference in the last time, like my history in Ironman sport. So it matters to me. Representation matters. Anyone that connects with any part of my story, I'm just like grateful to be out there and inspire in any way. But yeah, Sika's the real deal. She's a goat.
I feel like when you took your pro card, Sika did feel like she was able to move on. Yeah. Mm-hmm. And I think that that's also like a beautiful thing that you were able to do for Sika, because I'm sure when you are the first at something that you have to worry that you are also the last. And that's like the worst possible thing. And so here you are able to carry that torch, but you're also the first at, and so I think that do you feel pressure from that? Do you feel like there's, is it wild to you that you can be the first at something in 2026?
Now that you say it out loud, yeah, actually. I hadn't really thought about it in that way. I don't think I feel pressure. Honestly, I feel honored. The whole experience of it is beyond what I ever thought was going to be a part of the story of my life. And the fact that I get to layer in being the first of something just makes it extra sweet. And what we've kind of been the thread through this entire conversation has been like, how can we line up as present as possible and experience the day, from a sense of presence. And that doesn't change, like if I'm focused on that, then the pressure isn't going to be something that's going to impact me. But I'm choosing to go into it just feeling honored and grateful and going to get the most out of the day and do what I can. Like pressure is not something that I actively choose to engage with. And sometimes it feels like it's not a choice because it's like this outside thing that feels weight. But for me in this circumstance, it's just truly, truly, truly an honor beyond.
Vanessa, I love something that you do is like you always talk about your training, and I think it translates into racing too, is like as play.
Yeah.
And I've tried to do that as well. Like I've kind of absorbed that from you of like, oh, this is like, we're all just trying to get back to our 7-year-old selves, like that pure, like, let's just go play on our bikes. And yeah,
that's the fun in it.
Yeah, but I feel like this past maybe year and a half too, like you've been really anchored in that like playfulness, because I think you're coming more and more into your authentic self, and it's just like really, it's awesome to watch. And
thank you.
Yeah, like I met you through your podcast. And a lot of what I've done in the past, since like, I think like 2020, I guess, is like connected to you. And so whether or not you feel like you're the first at something, like you've inspired in ways beyond being the first at something. Like you've already done it. I don't know if that's helpful or not.
Thank you. Yeah. That's really sweet of you to say. Yeah, we've had a journey, but you're right. I do try to anchor into the play.
Yeah.
Because it changes, it just makes it more fun for me. And I love riding my bike, and I love riding my bike in beautiful places. And if I think about it as playing triathlon, that's another way that takes the pressure off. I feel like we went into Kona 2023 with that as our like North Stars. Like we literally get to play triathlon.
We're going to play triathlon.
Place on earth.
What if we all meet up? What if we all meet up at this one place and do this wild thing?
Yeah.
It's 1978 all over again.
Yeah, it just happens to also have aid stations.
Aid stations, women.
Well stocked.
Yes.
It's definitely, I feel like that, you know, some things have stayed the same. Some things have definitely changed for the better. I think that the sport is better for having both of you in it. I'm so thrilled that I get to be there and be a part of it.
Let's have a girls' weekend.
Yes, I will, see you in a few days, which is wild.
Jesus,
I'm very excited. This is just getting me excited. Oh, yeah.
Girl, I have nothing. I have nothing packed.
Guess who is not bringing a bike? No, just kidding. You can hate me later, but guess who doesn't get that finish line feeling? Me. But hopefully I'm on the other side of it.
Haley, are you going to be at the finish line?
Yeah, they can't. Once you have that mic in your hand, you get to go everywhere. I'm allowed everywhere. You're going to go in the porta potty and I'll be
Vanessa, will you wait for me at the finish line?
Will you wait for me? Are you kidding me? That run like
Let's make a pact right now.
See you Pinky, an hour after you're done.
Pinky swear right now that we'll wait for each other.
I mean, I'm waiting all day, so you got
Pinky swear we're all there.
Yeah.
But no, I think this is going to be very, very special experience for both of you. I'm so excited to get to be there for it. Hopefully a lot of our listeners who are there or far can cheer you on. And
yes, please do. And anyone that's listening.
Cheer us on. We all love cheers.
On.
Like even me as a commentator.
Yeah, cheer for Haley.
Cheer for Haley so that she can be on the Ironman.
I think
commentator.
I might be the sole field reporter. So we are carrying.
You're the new voice of Ironman is Haley Chura.
Haley Chura.
At least on the ground. The only eyes on the ground are mine, but I did just go to the eye doctor. So we got 20/20 vision here.
You have 20/20 vision? Wait.
No.
Stop it.
Contacts. Almost. No, I
Brittany
wish.
Oh,
no, I wish. I have terrible vision, but that's
too.
why I went to the eye doctor. But I think, I do think this is going to be an incredibly special event, something we'll remember for the rest of our lives. I think as Brittaney said, you've already done it.
Mm-hmm.
You've done the hard part. You got yourself there. Now we sharpen up, get ourselves like physically there, which again, this is part of Ironman. Mm-hmm. Getting to Placid. And then, you let all that hard work. All that hard work go off, problem solve, get that finish line feeling, and have stories for the rest of our lives.
You don't have to do anything else on that day. The only thing you have to do is race.
And probably take a picture with me.
And take a picture.
Because I do love a finish line.
Because becoming a mom now, when I finish a 7-hour bike ride and a 30-minute run, I'm like, okay, now I have to take care of a child. But
Vanessa
on
has
race
3
day,
dogs. She knows that.
Vanessa has take care of a child.
I can tell my dog.
Take care of a dog.
In the corner.
Or do like, I have work the next day or whatever it is. Like that's I think my favorite thing about race day is like this is the only thing.
Yeah. That's our job on the day. Yeah. It's our second job, but it's this job we get to do on that day.
See,
that sounds like fun.
Yeah,
I would also like to point out that your timing for training, Brittaney, is going to be perfect because you train at 3:30 in the morning LA time. Which is the time we start our race.
Yeah.
So you're perfectly prepared.
Thanks, babe. Thanks for acknowledging that.
You live on Eastern time.
I do. I live on how much can I get done before my 1.5-year-old wakes up time. Because today he only napped for 40 minutes. So
that means he sleeps a little later for you tomorrow. But
his dad's going to be great.
Deep into taper, get that sleep, keep eating those milkshakes. Vegan not.
Did you finish it, Vanessa?
Not yet, but I will right now.
Get that last Trader Joe's run so you have all your snacks. If you
they do have some good gummies for any listeners looking for like
next time I'm in
gummies.
LA, spend all my money at
Anytime.
Erewhon, and then I will take out another credit card and go to Trader Joe's.
Or come to Colorado.
You have, oh no, you have Trader Joe's there. I know, I should do that. I should do that.
Let's do like a triangle road trip.
Ooh, we could do that.
That is a good triangle.
We'll all each go to each other's homes.
Perfect.
And on that note,
thanks all listeners.
Thank you both.
I like to imagine that I'm Amy Poehler at this moment. And
I mean, I love how sometimes
and get my Peabody and Emmy.
She had the most awkward ending, and it made me feel so better. Where she's like, I don't know how to end this. Bye. So
I love her.
In that spirit, I'll see y'all soon.